Hello, this is CandySun here, and I finally have my patch notes for version 3.9. So I know it's been having some hype up or whatever. I'm not sure if y'all have been hyped up or not about it. However, it's finally here. I decided to keep my analysis till after it came out. So first off, we have a developer's note saying that this is a three-pronged approach to address the fact that late game was happening every single game between the very skilled players. So first off, it seems like this update is going to be something that's trying to tackle excessive late game. And I think it steps in the right direction for that. So, first of all, new features. Power cards. These are some special cards for card battles. They have special effects. I think it's going to be great for the casual people in card battles who want to get a little more variety. However, it doesn't really change. I think it doesn't really change how popular the mode will be, but however, be a nice thing for those who do play cards. And keep in mind that this has been planned since before cards was even released, so it is not taking away development time from people who are concerned about normal battles. Fast cooldown ZOMGs, I really like the addition to that. I think that it will need some tweaking. They are not going to be balanced at the start. However, the point is not to have them fully balanced, but have the option to have it. They're going to be using this update as a way to see how balanced they are and then tweak as needed. I mean, they did make some tweaks already, but when talking to people at Ninja Kiwi, they said that they were trying to keep the tweaks to a minimum because they're trying to see how the ZOMG change send the ZOMG send changes the game. So, map changes. We have Zen Garden. So, this is just like Flash version, very short and very interesting. I'm really looking forward to this map, because it seems like Dart Monkeys are not the best tower here. However, I don't know of any other viable starting towers. However, at the same time, I think with some of the buffs we're seeing, there might be some more viable options. Hot Tub has been updated to match the Flash version, so no more longest map ever. It is now reasonably sized. So, I like that. Great change. Map availability. So, and smaller arenas, longer maps now happen more often, and in higher up arenas, the shorter maps appear more often. And this has been in testing in the past update. It's now just official, and NK supports it, not just one member or whatever wanting it. Bug fixes. Banana Farm bank income is now doubled in Bonanza. That's good to see that fixed. Players should no longer occasionally get into different maps from private matches. I didn't realize this was still around. Fixed occasional crash in card battle Mega Boost games. I've never played card battle Mega Boost, but it's good to see that fixed. Tapping the player card in the card battle lobby will no longer ask the player to reset the deck. That's good. It's good to see some of these bugs getting tackled. Again, I don't really notice these, however, if it is a bug, you might as well go and fix it. Monkey changes. So, first off, we have a bunch of changes. There's some nerfs, some buffs, and first off, we have the Dart Monkey. Triple darts increased to 400 from 380. I don't think this is going to be major. However, it is a slight hurt to farm users. I don't think Bloon Eco users will have an issue with this price increase, though, because it mainly impacts the early game of farms, if anything. I don't think $20 is going to be game-changing. However, it's something. And I think a balance of buffs and nerfs is the right way to go. So, while there are some nerfs here, there are also some buffs to compensate. So, we have that. And again, I don't agree with fully nerfing, and also I don't agree with fully buffing. I think it should be a balance. Monkey Ace ground 0 to 16,000 from 14,000. Without fast cooldown ZOMGs, I don't see the point of that. However, there may be something that NK sees with that I don't. I don't necessarily see a huge reasoning for that besides that it could be centralizing, and they just don't want to take the risk. Because with fast cooldown ZOMGs, other methods of taking out ZOMGs are no longer as strong. So I think that's more of a preemptive move, just in case ground 0 became the end-all be-all with the fast cooldown ZOMGs. Next, we have Sabotage supply lines. It's increased to 5,000 from 4,000. Again, I think this is tackling the abilities in the mid to late game. Going off of what the developers note actually said, this holds true for the Ace as well, is that they are trying to tackle late game at the same time. So, these updates are not designed to prevent late game yet, however, it is designed to make it a little tougher to get there. And honestly, I would prefer it being too easy to kill than too tough. However, again, I think more tweaking will be needed. Sniper Monkey has a lot of changes. I don't know if this is going to make it more usable or not. Full Metal Jacket cost decreased to 300 from 350. Faster firing, 350 from 400. .50, 1800 from 2000. Deadly Precision, that's the 3x for people wondering. 3500 from 4000. Semi-auto to 2400 from 2750. Cripple Moab, which is the 4x, is 5500 from 7000. That's actually a really low, or a really big change for that. I don't think that necessarily will be viable yet. However, I could see it being an option if you were to stall ZOMGs on 24 and rush them at the same time. I think that could be an option if you want to counter rush and you have Sniper. However, again, that would be beat by like a Ninja. However, I think that Sniper might actually have a use with that stalling, and also being better around 13 and 10. Next, we have Apprentice. Oh, I missed a supply drop. That's 7,000 from 8,000. I don't think that's going to be enough to make that usable, but it's a buff nonetheless. Monkey Apprentice is Dragon's Breath is down 400, 3,200 from 3,600. I like that change. It's obviously not going to make Apprentice viable. However, I think it's going to be nice for those more casual players who like using Wizard. It's not going to make Wizard strong, but I do like that because it is a casual-based tower. Summon Phoenix cost decreased to 4,000 from 5,000. Again, same as Dragon's Breath. Nothing that's going to make it game-breaking or even viable, I don't think. However, I think just being a little cheaper for more casual players, and if you want to just mess around a little, I think that's nice. Supervac cost increased to 13,000 from 11,000. Again, I think that's following suit with the Monkey Ace and the Ninja Monkey, trying to tackle late game and not trying to favor one of the upgrades. Because what I think is if they buffed, or if they nerfed one, I think they would have to nerf a bunch of them just because you're trying to tackle late game as a whole and not just shift the meta. However, I think this is just something that needs to be tweaked more. These are just some early ones just to make sure that nothing is game breaking with the ZOMGs. And if anything will be broken, it's going to be the ZOMGs themselves, which I'd prefer, and I have said this earlier in the video, I'd prefer too strong of rushes than too weak of rushes. Mortar Tower, Signal Flare cost decreased to 5,000 or 550 from 700. Not going to make it viable. However, I think that's going to be a nice start. Signal Flare obviously doesn't have enough blast radius. However, I think this makes it slightly more viable in situations. In some situations, very situational. I don't think it's going to make it viable. However, I think that does open the door for some possible more eco buffs into the future. Monkey Village, the radar scanner, so the 02 is now 1,750 from 2,000, and the base cost is 1,500 from 1,600. So that's 350 less than what it used to cost for camo detection. So half an eco boost, maybe one if you have low eco. I don't think that's going to necessarily make Monkey Village super viable. However, I like the buffs with a Mortar and Monkey Village. I think it's a good start, and I think that is a good help for eco strats after you have those Ground Zero Sabotage and Supervac Nurse, which hurt eco more than they hurt Bloon, or they hurt Bloon eco more than they hurt Farm eco. I think having the Mortar and Monkey Village buffs is going to be a nice transition into the future if we can get more of those. So, with that, that is my update analysis. If you like some of these changes, let me know in the comments below. If you want some more changes that I could possibly send on, let me know as well. And with that, hope y'all enjoyed, and see y'all in the next one.